Okay, today we're going to go over how to build brand new plans for clients. Okay, there's an SOP with a written instruction on how to do this, but this is a video kind of walking you through that process. When you first have a client assigned to you, you will receive a text message and it says, Tiffany Wright, for example, has been assigned to you. Now, whenever you get this notification, you want to start building on their plans. Our promise to the client is to have their plans made within 2 to 3 business days. So it's important that we get started on this. This process of building this plan should take you no more than 15 minutes because we want to make this as streamlined as possible. So I'm going to start now with choosing Tiffany Wright. You're going to see her whole profile here. I'm also going to view her pop-up profile, which is this right here. And you're going to see a little bit more detail, like when she last signed in. You're going to also see some information down here. You won't see her product here just because it's linked differently for the coaches, but you will want to use this pop-up profile in order to view her consultation form, which is important for us to build her new custom plans. If she does not have her consultation form created or made, we will have to remind the client to get this done. Okay, if she just got added to Trainerize and you just received that message, give her some time to fill this out. But if you don't see this within 1 day or 2 days and she still hasn't worked on this, you want to remind her by going up to the top right. You see this little arrow button, select that, and then go to consultation form, and you want to send this consultation form again as a reminder. Okay, so let's say the consultation form is done. You're going to go through, briefly read some of this information. She wants to learn more about macros. That's important because if she's not very familiar with macros, we want to give her a very simplified plan. Then we're going to take a look at what she has access to, free weights, TRX, and the treadmill. She's available to work out 3 up to 4 days a week, and she considers herself to be an immediate level. Okay. Then we also want to look at her history, her medical history, and if there's any medication to consider. She has PCOS, intolerant, thyroid meds, and progesterone. So this is something that we want to be familiar with, especially like for PCOS. We want to choose a little bit more lower inflammatory foods, but that's something that we can learn in time too. A very simplified meal plan would be helpful for this client. She has an old shoulder injury, but nothing like too serious, right? Dietary preference, she has no preference here. If she was paleo, keto, Atkins, or something like that, and she was strict about it, you would want to see that here. If a client puts their paleo, I would double check with the client, make sure that they're strict with this, because sometimes they put this in as a desired diet as opposed to what they're actually currently doing. So just something to keep in mind. If she is paleo or keto or something like that, that's just going to be very restrictive for her, so she's going to have less options in the database. So going forward, we took a glance at her consultation form. Now we're ready to build her plan. You can either open her profile here, or you will probably already have it ready to go here. Okay, so this is the desktop version. You want to actually build all plans on your computer. So just to keep it more streamlined and easy, you will not have access to building plans through your cell phone, but you can message clients through your cell phone. You can update them. You can see their stats and all those things. And you can also do their check-ins through your cell phone. But building a plan to start will have to be on a computer. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you're going to see some information like she just signed up, she's ready to go, she connected her Fitbit, she connected her FitnessPal or MyFitnessPal. So she has done a lot to start. First place we're going to go always is going to be goals and habits. Okay, once we go here, we're going to select new, then we're going to go to habit, and now we're going to select all clients, and we're going to do a gallon of water every day. Now we want to change this to 52 weeks because we want it to be every single day. You want everything selected, and then you're going to select add. Okay, I've already added this, so I'm not going to add it again. But then we're going to do the same thing, habit, to cardio. Okay, so then we have our cardio check option. You want to do exactly what I said before. You're going to do 52 weeks. And for cardio check, this is going to be at the coach's discretion on how they want to do this for the client. Every client is different. Obviously, you don't want a client doing cardio every single day, but what I found to be most useful for me and my clients is I will unselect all these and I will leave only Saturday checked, because from Sunday to Saturday is a full week, and as long as they complete their goal that I set for them, then they can simply check off that they completed their cardio. Okay, so then you would select add, and you would have the cardio check in their calendar now. Okay, so now we go towards food. Food is the next thing that we want to work on. So we go to daily nutrition habit, and then we are going to view their profile. This is all their information. Now, based on the calculation, it's going to spit out a number of how many calories the app thinks that you should select, but this can sometimes be not very accurate. You want it to be very realistic for this client. So in order to drop weight, which is her goal, you see that it gives her almost 1,200 calories. That's way too low, and we don't ever want to get to 1,200 calories. That should be the lowest for females. So realistically, if we select 0.5, this is a little bit closer to what we want. I personally like to start a lot of my female clients on around 1,600 calories, just because that is a pretty good place to start. And then we can adjust as we go. If she's not dropping weight, we can add in more cardio, but it's always best to have the client lose on the highest amount of calories as possible, because due to metabolic adaptation, we will have to decrease calories in time as we hit plateaus, right? So you don't want to start on 1,200 calories, because that doesn't leave us with a lot of wiggle room. Plus, the body naturally requires 1,200 calories is like minimum for most women. That's how much our body needs to actually sustain optimal health and organ function. So 1,600 is a very good place to start. You want the client to always go towards calories versus macros, just because we want to get them familiar with macro tracking. If they get experience with macro tracking, this gives them a lot more food freedom and allows them to manipulate their foods instead of you always having to give them meal plans. So I always like to teach and educate as we go. If a client prefers to do calories only, we can totally do that. I don't recommend this though. I recommend actually doing calories and protein, because obviously protein is going to help us maintain muscle. So I never really choose the calories only option. I would either choose the calories and protein option, or I'll choose the calories and full macros, just so they can become educated as we go. Now, how will the client track compliance? You want to track details either through MyFitnessPal or an app. Because the client has already connected her MyFitnessPal, and I know that's her preference, I'm going to go ahead and choose via MyFitnessPal and save. So now it saves her nutrition goal here. You're going to also see her current habits. She has a gallon of water a day. She has a cardio check, and then she also has her nutrition. So now that we have those things set, you can also go up here to new, and you'll select habit, right? From the all clients list, you can also see that we have early morning gratitudes. If we want her to work on her mindset, more positivity, then that's a really good option. Also, if she's been struggling with sleep, you can also add in the sleep routine. There's a lot of other ones that you can pick and choose from, but we like to live right here where it says all clients. These are like more of the basics, okay? Just something to touch on. Next thing that you could do is we can go to fitness goal, and I know that this client has a treadmill. Like I said before, we're going to give her a cardio goal, and she's going to check this off within a week's time. Since I gave her a cardio check on Saturday, I'm going to give her a goal of how many calories to burn per week, so that way she can simply check off on Saturday that she completed that goal. I'm going to start her with something very realistic. 500 is great for people that are not currently active with cardio. 800 calories a week is good for those that might already have a process going. So I'm going to give her 800. I think that's reasonable. Plus, I want her to start seeing some quick progress. So 800 calories per week. I'm going to save that goal. And now she's going to see that in all of her current goals. 800 calories a week and her nutrition goals here. So now that we got this all set, we're going to go over to our training program. Okay. This is where it's going to save you a lot of time, because building training programs can take hours, right? Especially for customizing. We're going to go to add, we're going to go to subscribe to master program, and now we're going to select from options that we already have in our database. Now, just something to keep in mind, I'm going to be changing a lot of these so that way it's easier to read. I'm going to have it based off of experience level first, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And then I'm going to add on whether it's home gym or gym. And then I'm also going to add on what equipment is being used. Like, for example, you see advanced gym, more free weights, and more HIIT style, right? And then for this one, you see advanced home gym, Smith, dumbbell, cable only. So that way we can choose the right plan based off the experience, the location, and what equipment we have, which is going to streamline it for you as a coach. Okay, so now that we know that she's intermediate, she has home equipment, she has access to dumbbell, and let's see, she actually sent me a message of what she has. She has access to dumbbells, free weights, TRX, and a treadmill, right? So I'm going to select which I already know that this is a good option for her. I'm going to do Titan Toned. This is an intermediate plan. Again, this is not going to say Titan Toned going forward. It's going to say intermediate. And I'm going to select dumbbell plan because this is going to be the best option for her being intermediate, doing home workouts, and she has dumbbells. So we're going to choose dumbbell plan. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to always schedule a training to begin on a Monday. The reason why is because check-ins are every Monday, and this is going to show up properly in the calendar. If you select a random day, it's going to be out of whack, and the check-ins won't be on the same day. So make sure you always select Monday. You can either go back in time and select the Monday prior, but I don't recommend that since we're at the end of the week. Today's Friday, so I'm going to select the next Monday to be when she starts her training program, okay? That will allow her time to settle. She'll get to see this in her calendar and she can get her mapped out. Always start it on the Monday. Then subscribe the program as main program, okay? An add-on program is, let's say she was traveling a lot and she needed to have an alternative program like a band workout because she's going to be at a hotel a lot, right? So if she's traveling, we can do an add-on program and we can add in like a band program, but that will be an add-on because it's not her main program. So make sure you select main program and then you're going to subscribe. So once you subscribe, you're going to see everything's loaded here. She has all of her notes. Now, the one thing to make sure that you do from this point is click on the three dots up top, select that, and always convert to the client's program, and you're going to select merge. The reason why you want to do this is the only way you can edit the client's training. So now you see Tiffany's programs here. It's been converted. So now that we have done that, we can actually go through and we can add in notes, or we can really just customize this according to what she needs to do. Okay, so weeks 1 through 4, 5 through 8, these are different phases, and we'll see she has dumbbell training, and most of these are full body. I'm not really liking that it's full body because that's just not something that I recommend for this type of client. This is great for someone that's trying to get used to getting back into the gym or back into training, but I like these other phases a little bit more. So what I'm going to do instead of that first phase is I'm going to go and skip this one, delete this phase, and now I'm going to have this phase because I rather have 2 full bodies in a lower and upper body day. I think that makes a lot more sense. So because I did that, I'm going to change duration because you'll see that it starts on April 21st. I want to change when that starts. I'm going to say weeks 1 through 8 just to get her familiar with the process. I'm going to have her do this phase a little bit longer. And now I'm going to go back to what our current date is. And that's going to be Monday the 24th because, again, like I said, we started on a Monday and we're going to end on the same day. So save, and you'll see that it actually populates on the right day, okay? So this is important to look at. You want to make sure it starts on the appropriate day, make sure it makes sense, and then because now that we know what training we want for her, we can actually go through and select the calendar and make sure that is also extended, because we have given her a longer phase. Instead of it being 4 weeks, it's 8 weeks. So we want to actually make sure that reflects in the calendars as well. So her full body days is Monday, and then her next full body day is on a Thursday. So let's go ahead and fill in the rest of those days so the phases match up. And this lower body day is on a Tuesday. Again, we're going to fill in the rest of those days because we extended this. And then her upper body day is on a Wednesday here. Cool. So now that we've done that, she has really good training. I can go back through and look to make sure everything makes sense in the training. Okay. So all of this looks pretty good. I want to make sure there's nothing that she cannot do. She did request no burpees, possibly because that's going to hurt her shoulder. So I'm going to make sure there's nothing in there that says burpees. All of these look pretty good. And this last one here. Okay. So now that we have a really good training program made, I can actually go through now and check on the calendar, right? I want to make sure it is lined up with what makes sense. I click on Tiffany's program so I can see it. And now I can see what this looks like in the client's perspective. She has her cardio check every Saturday. So as she meets her weekly cardio calorie goal, she can check that off. And then we see take progress photos, track body stats every Monday. This is because it's check-in day, right? And we selected Monday to start her training program. And we see full body, lower, upper, full body. And she can only train 3 to 4 days a week, so that's a really good split for her, okay? So now that we see everything in here, we see our gallon of water every day, everything's making sense. Now we're pretty much set with the training, okay? Again, you can go back to the training tab, you can add more notes, and I actually do like to add some notes. So maybe I'll say something like abs. We're going to say perform 1 to 2 times a week. And I'm going to say preferably on rest days or post-training, okay? That way she can reserve most of her energy for lifting heavy. And then for cardio, I might want to add in some notes for this as well, because usually a client does have questions about cardio. I'm going to say to be determined after assessing check-ins. So that way she knows she needs to update me on her cardio, so that way we can continue to work on the cardio calorie goal, okay? So this is something that's continuous. So now that I have some notes in there, I'm pretty much set with her training program, I'm going to go to her meal plan. Now we're ready to build this. So there's multiple ways you can do this. If you have a meal plan ready to go, which I highly recommend every coach make their own simplified meal plan for the client based on calories. You want to possibly do a 1,600 calorie meal plan that's simplified for females, and then possibly do a 2,000 calorie simplified meal plan for males, since these are both very good places to start for deficits, right? For a calorie deficit. So that's what I recommend for a simplified meal plan. You would upload here and then go to Let's Start, and then you would find that in your files. But let's say you don't want to do this, you want to start with a SMART meal plan, which I do recommend you do this if a client has multiple restrictions and multiple things to exclude or allergies. This is a lot more, this will give you a lot more options to take things out and make some other things to focus. So let's say we use the SMART meal plan, you would have the 1,600 calories already loaded here because that's the calories we have set. Then you have a 30-40-30 split, which is very typical for the macro split. And then for the meals per day, I usually like to do at least 4 meals a day. And then a number of sample days, I like to do about 3 days, because sometimes seven different sample days is a little bit overwhelming for the client. So I like to start with a little bit less days. And then preference, she has no preference. She's not vegan, she's not any of these, so we have no preference. And she has no allergies or nothing for us to exclude, okay? So then you would go to create. Replace existing nutrition goal, yes, we're going to confirm that. And now you're going to pull up some really good meals for her. Now, what I like to do for the brand new client is I want to go through some of these meals to make sure it makes sense. If it has tofu, and I know that's really not a preference for a lot of people, I will change that out. Toast with roast beef, no one really eats roast beef for breakfast, so I'll actually change this out because I want it to sound good and be appetizing. Salted dark chocolate dipped oranges, that's okay. Eggs with tuna, that's okay. Noodle salad, I don't think that many people would want that. So I'm going to change that out for possibly, let's see, something a little bit more realistic. Let's say Instant Pot salsa chicken swap. There we go. And then chicken for breakfast. It has sweet potatoes and some other things. So the client will see all of this. They get instructional videos. They also know about how much of each ingredient to measure out. So that's really helpful for them. So that looks pretty good. Roasted chickpeas, let's switch that out. I want it to be very easy and simple for the client. So apple and peanut butter. There we go. Bean soup. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to make bean soup. So let's try to change that out as well. Now, the cool thing about you changing this out is that the client also has access to changing this out. So if they want new recipes, let them know they can use the app to find other options in the database, and it will actually automatically give them the breakdown of their calorie count and how much they need. Okay, sushi cottage bowl. Okay, let's leave that. Let's see, and then tuna. Okay, so now that we have all of these made, we're going to send this to the client. She already actually has a notification. Once I built this, she'll receive a notification that her training plan is uploaded and her meal plan is uploaded. So that's good to know. And then now that we have training done, meal plan done, now final thing to do is message the client. Okay, we message the client to let her know that everything's ready to go. Now, I have a template that's already created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal that template. It's on my desktop. So I'm going to go to that template. I'm going to copy it. I have it on a different page. And now I'm going to paste this template. You want to keep a template on your desktop for all clients, so that way you can give them all the information at once without you having to retype this over and over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply change out some things. Hey Tiffany, so excited to help you. I've uploaded your training plan and our simple meal plan and start losing. For now, I suggest following the meal plan as close as possible. As we get used to tracking macros and weighing out foods, we will start here at 1,600 calories. Again, you want to make sure it's a template, so you have to go through and change some things, right? So I can assess what your metabolism truly needs. We want to lose body fat on the highest amount of calories. We will adjust the plan weekly if needed. Eventually, when you feel more comfortable with macros, we will switch entirely to counting macros, allowing more food freedom as you choose ingredients, recipes you like best, as long as we hit macro targets. When you're ready for more meal options, let me know and I can send some to you. For training, we will train 4 days a week, right? So we started with 4 for her. You can modify or substitute exercise if needed. If equipment is available, let me know if you need help with this feature, if you need to make a permanent fix. Every Monday's check-in day. You will copy and paste the check-in questions found in the lifestyle broadcast group chat and submit them here for me to review. You will also update your weight and progress pics Monday morning as well so I can assess. I will send you my calendar booking link after Monday's check-in so we can start scheduling our monthly, because she is a monthly video call client. Video calls. I know it's a lot of information at once, so after you review, let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm happy to help. Hope you have a great week. And let's say weekend because it's Friday, and looking forward to helping you. There we go. So I sent her this massive message. It shows her that I am giving her all the details of what is included so that way she's not confused. And now she can look this over the weekend. Now, something also to keep in mind is when we have this client for the first time, you also want to add in some notes. So she is a premium coaching client. For me, that plan means that she gets monthly video calls. So I'm going to write a note to myself. So that way, every time I pull up this client's profile, I know exactly what they're getting. They should be getting monthly video calls. So if she hasn't had a call with me for 2 or 3 months straight, I want to follow up with that client and ask her like, hey, let's go ahead and get you on the calendar. Is there anything that I can help you with to get you booked? So that way we can stay connected. So this is something that's going to help you retain the client, but also something, a value that this client is paying for. So you want to make sure that she's getting that. So save that note. And this is the final step. After you build out their custom meal plan, their training plan, and all of that, you're going to go over to the main page, go over to your groups, and you're going to add this client to the appropriate groups. Okay? She's in the BFF chat group, so let's go to members, add members, and we're going to go to Tiffany, right? That's her name, and add. Okay? Everybody should be in this BFF chat group. Everyone is able to talk with each other. You want that. And then the next place you want her to live is the Lifestyle Broadcast group. This is where we send out the weekly reminders for the check-ins, which is really helpful. If your client doesn't see this notification, they might forget about check-in day. So definitely want her to be a part of this lifestyle group. If she's a competitor, you drop her into the competitors chat. Obviously, you're not going to put her in the coaches chat because she's not a coach, but she is pretty much set and ready to go. I do want to expound on one more thing. When you build out this client's training for the first time, to save yourself time, you want to focus on this, the first phase. The second phase, we're going to assess as we go through their weekly check-ins what we need to change for the second phase. Because maybe during the check-in process, Tiffany might mention, oh, I got injured. I can no longer do this anymore. Or I no longer have access to this equipment. Or I don't like this movement, right? And if you don't know until after you've already built all of this, then you've wasted a lot of time building out all of these other phases, right? So you want to build phases as you go because there's going to be a lot of changes going on, a lot of modifications, and a lot of communication going back and forth between you and the client. And you don't want to spend so much time on these other phases when you might have to change everything, okay? So make sure you focus on this first phase, and then that way she can let you know, hey, this isn't working, this is working. So then we can make sure the next phase is built appropriately, okay? So that's pretty much it. And if you guys have any questions about that, let me know.